You know, it feels like everywhere you turn, people are talking about artificial intelligence. It's this incredible promise to solve our biggest problems, but at the same time, it taps into some of our deepest fears. And the technology is just moving so incredibly fast, it's forcing us to ask some really big questions about the kind of future we're actually building. And that, of course, brings us to the big one, the question that's on pretty much everyone's mind. Should we actually be worried? It sounds like a yes or no question, right? But the answer is, well, it's a lot more complicated than that. So let's try to unpack it. Okay, so before we can even begin to figure out if we should be worried, we kind of need to be on the same page about what AI even is. And as it turns out, that is not as simple as you might think. So, on one hand, you could look at AI as just the next step for computers, a really, really powerful tool. We design it to do things we just can't, solve insanely complex problems, dig through mountains of data, and do it all with superhuman speed. In that sense, it's basically just an extension of our own brainpower. But then there's this other idea, and it's a whole lot bigger. What if AI becomes more than just a tool? I mean, what if it starts to develop some kind of understanding or maybe even a kind of consciousness that we can't predict, let alone understand? This is where the conversation shifts from just engineering to something, well, a lot more philosophical. There is a third way to look at it, though. And maybe this is the most honest one. What if AI is basically a mirror? It learns from everything humanity has ever made. All our books, our art, our conversations, our entire history. And that means it reflects the best parts of us, right? Our creativity, our intelligence. But it also reflects our biases, our flaws, all the messy stuff we'd probably rather not look at. All right, so keeping all of that in mind, let's explore the first half of this dilemma, the case for concern. And just to be clear, we're not talking about evil sci-fi movie robots here. The real concerns are actually much more logical and, frankly, a bit chilling. This, right here, is the absolute heart of the fear. The danger isn't that AI will be malicious, it's that it'll be incredibly good at its job, but with zero common sense. Just think about it for a second. You tell a super intelligent AI, solve climate change. The most efficient, logical solution it comes up with might be something with absolutely devastating side effects for us, things we never wanted because we just didn't think to tell it, hey, don't do that. The AI gets the instructions, but it doesn't get the wisdom. And that quote just nails it, doesn't it? We are creating something that operates on a level of complexity and speed that we just can't keep up with. And that means it could very quickly get beyond our ability to manage or even predict. The real issue here is about losing control. So here it is, laid out. The potential risks are massive. We're talking about loss of control, all those unintended consequences, and just huge disruption to our society as we know it. But you probably notice that other column is empty. That's on purpose, because the potential rewards, well, they're just as massive, if not more so. So let's flip that coin over. Let's look at the case for optimism, at a future where AI could help us do things that right now are pretty much just a dream. What a powerful way to put it, and such a total 180 from that earlier idea. This view completely reframes the whole conversation. Suddenly, AI isn't a tool we might lose control of. Instead, it's a partner that could amplify everything we can do, a collaborator to help push humanity forward. And the vision for this kind of partnership it's truly mind-blowing. We are not just talking about little improvements here and there. We're talking about taking on the biggest challenges we have ever faced, curing diseases, solving climate change. Imagine supercharging science itself, or freeing up every person from boring, repetitive work so they can focus on being creative. Think about personalized medicine and education for every single person on Earth. I mean, the potential upside is almost impossible to wrap your head around. Okay, so we've got these two powerful competing visions, right? One is full of deep, legitimate concern. The other is filled with boundless optimism. So where does that leave us? Well, the way forward isn't about picking a side. It's about figuring out how to deal with both of these possibilities at the very same time. And this right here, this might be the most important takeaway of all. The future of AI is not going to be a perfect utopia, and it's probably not going to be a total dystopia. The truth is most likely going to live right in the tension between those two poles. The hope and the fear, they're not separate. They're just two sides of the same coin. You know, I love this analogy because it's perfect. Fire. It gave humanity heat and light and safety. It let civilizations grow. But it can also cause total destruction. Fire itself isn't good or evil. It's just this fundamental force of nature. And AI, it's like that. It's a new kind of fire, and everything, absolutely everything, is going to depend on how wisely we learn to use it. Which leads to this crucial realization. We are not just watching a movie here. We are not passive spectators just waiting to see how the story is going to end. We are the ones shaping the future of AI right now with every choice we make, with our laws, our ethics, and the goals we decide to give this technology. We actually have a say in this. And that, well, that brings us full circle. We started by asking if we should be worried. But you know what? Maybe that's just the wrong question. Maybe the most important question isn't a passive one. What will AI do? Maybe it's an active one. What will we ask it to do? What values will we decide to build into it? What kind of future are we going to tell it to help us create? That is the real AI dilemma.